Oh boy, today is the day. Today we talk about the biggest of the big boys and girls. Today we talk about the race that is defined by strength, muscle, power, and ridiculously funny and animated emotes. Today we delve into the culture and history of giants. Today we talk about the Roegadyn. What do you get if you mix glorious heavy metal, the history and ferocity of Vikings, Andre the Giant, and the beefiest of Smurfs? The Roegadyn, a race defined by strength and power. So why then is this race one of the rarest races possible, numbering just barely higher than the very recently added Hrothgar? Why is the race that is known to be the most rugged of all the Eorzean races the unicorn race? Where exactly did this race of giant shaved gorilla people come from? How do I survive an encounter with them? As always, let's start with how they got here. The Roegadyn all hail from Eerslint, first land in the Roegadyn language. Funny enough, these isles, where, quote, all life comes from, has little to no food and the soil is unfit for crops and vegetation. Very life-giving. Due to this, the Roegadyn established themselves as pirates, and they were damn good at it.
Do what you want, cause a pirate is free. You are a pirate. Yar!
They raided up and down the coastlines of Eorzea and literally any land they could find. They were the uncontested rulers of the ocean. Early on in the 6th Astral Era, a group of Roegadyn arrived in the northern shores of Eorzea. These Roegadyn moved into the mountains and volcanoes in the Abalanthia spine, believing the volcanoes to be the gates to hell. So, naturally, the perfect place to establish a few villages and raise some kids. They lived completely isolated from their brethren and other races, giving up their pirating ways and grew into what we know today as the Hell's Guard. The rest of the Roegadyn continued their pirating and pillaging along the coasts. Many years later, but still during the 6th Astral Era, a different group of Roegadyn came to Eorzea, fleeing the rule of a tyrant in their homelands. They landed on Vilbrant. Of course, coming from the north, they naturally landed in the southmost part of the island. This group, the crew of the Galadian, established a new settlement, Limsa Lominsa. As the city grew and became more established, the Seawolves' desire for piracy waned and near vanished. For why pillage illegally when you can pillage legally? I mean, Limsa is the place for most adventurers. The taxes the Limsa Lominsa market board rakes in every day is absurd. So now we are armed with the knowledge of their brutal history and how they got here. Or are we? The history of the Roegadyn we learn is a lie. A lie told to you so that we can continue to think of the peaceful Roegadyn as bloodthirsty savages. The truth of the Roegadyn could not be further from this. They are a peaceful people who desire nothing more than for you to be comfortable and happy in their presence. Tales are told that hugging a male Roegadyn is like being pressed into the warm, loving embrace of a caring father. The hug of a female Roegadyn is like being pulled straight into heaven. So I, for one, hope you'll join me. Join me in returning the Roegadyn to the large population they once had in Eorzea. Show them some love. Marry a Roegadyn today.
Time, snoo. Can't we just cuddle? No!
or don't and actually have a chance in surviving your wedding night. So now let us learn how to interact with a Roegadyn. We'll do this by going over what Roegadyn culture is like. Knowing their culture will allow us to infer how to properly interact with them. The Roegadyn culture rotates entirely around strength. Seriously, strength is everything to them, in other Roegadyn as well as in outsiders. Due to this culture of valuing strength, and remember, also being very compassionate, it is not uncommon for a Roegadyn to act motherly or fatherly towards someone. Sitting down and having heart-to-hearts, playing catch, and just being there when you need them. However, this does come with a very dangerous caveat. When a Roegadyn comes in to offer you a hug, do everything to politely decline this. The Roegadyn is not one to hold back their strength, and a hug from them is almost certainly a death sentence. I'd like to emphasize that you should be polite in this too, else they will think that you need this hug even more and will become more persistent in their attempts to break all your ribs. An important difference between the sea wolves and the Hellsguard is that the sea wolf have a bit of a shorter temper. Thus, they are far more likely to initiate their hugging mode, but they're also quicker to get out of it. An additional bonus is that they're the cool parents and will often buy you ale or beer whenever you find them in a tavern. The Hellsguard, in contrast, are not as hug happy and are deeply independent. This is because nearly all Hellsguards that we meet are orphans. Their people have a tradition where every second and third born child is exiled from their village at whatever age the parents wish, really. These children either die alone in the wilds or survive to make it to a village or city-state. Thus, they may seem to be less affectionate, but don't be fooled. They want nobody to experience the hardships they had, and if they think you are struggling, there may be a bone-shattering hug in your very near future. Now, the part everyone has been looking forward to and the part I have been dreading. Let us move on to their naming conventions. The two clans we will be looking at are the Sea Wolves and the Hellsguard. Let's start with the Sea Wolves. Alright, so today we'll be playing Is That a Sea Wolf Name? Or Did I Just Roll My Face on the Keyboard? Today's contestant, you! So the objective is simple. I will be showing you two names, and it is your job to figure out which is a sea wolf name and which is fake. To make things slightly more interesting, I'm gonna have a good friend play along.
Hello.
So let's get started. Here's the first two. You want to try and pronounce that one on the left?
Fuckwida.
And the second one, and the one on the right?
I'll just give it.
Alright, so of these two names, which one do you think is real?
The right.
So the one on the right, what's that one again?
Oh, this is good.
And you're picking that just out of a gut feeling?
Yeah.
Alright, here's the next two, and you want to say that one on the left?
Thubby Dubber Gim.
And the one on the right there?
Bergilent. I would have to say the first one. Yeah.
So what makes you think that one's real and the other one isn't?
I don't know, just the word thub.
And here's the third and final pair. You want to say that one on the left?
Astigi.
And-
Antibrim.
Sorry, say that again?
Antibrim.
Alright, so of these two, they seem the most sane, right?
Yeah, no.
But which one do you think is real?
Alright.
So what makes you think this one is real? Is it because of the Y?
Why not?
The one on the left, it also has a Y.
Yes, but it just has 2 G's. It does not make sense.
Double G's don't make sense.
Yeah, no. Well, other than... I have to actually think of a word that has 2 G's in it.
Egg.
Egg. Shush.
Alright, so are you ready for the big reveal?
Well, I think I did poorly.
So the big reveal is that out of 3 questions, the number of real Roegadyn is all of them. Every single one of those were real Roegadyn. I lied to you. All of them are real.
I'm actually speechless.
Most Roegadyn have forgotten their ancestral language, and the only remnant of it are in the names of the seawolves. A seawolf name appears to be, as was best described, quote, seemingly random letters pounded out by a starved monkey changed to a thrift store typewriter. I honestly couldn't describe it better myself. Alas, they do actually have a pattern. All seawolf names are formed from 2 words taken from the ancient Roegadyn language and then combined together, an adjective and a noun. For example, bara and veen would make baraveen. Wiesen and wilf will make wiesenwilf, and so on. Note that female names are a tiny bit more restrictive than male names. The second part of a female seawolf name is nearly always one of these: Sveis, Tota, Veida, Chaim, Velb, Reil, Lorna, Bida. A seawolf's surname is the name of their father with the addition of either Sin or Wien. So taking Moonbreda Wulfsunveen as an example, this name literally translates to Moon Bride, daughter of Wolfson. If you wish to form your own seawolf name, a link to a dictionary of most Roegadyn words and how to form them into names is in a link in the description below. Finally, moving on to the Hellsguard. The Hellsguard's names, when compared to the Seawolves, are pretty meh. For you see, Hellsguard names are old traditional Roegadyn names that have just been translated into the Eorzean common language. Male Hellsguard's names tend to draw heavily from nature, anything from nature, a plant or an animal, inanimate or animate, anything. Raging Hawk, Dewy Mountain, Gaping Cave, and Massive Duck being examples. Female Hellsguard's names follow the exact same rule as male names, but tend to have plants in them. Still Orchard, Crying Lily,
Screaming Eagle!
and Smelly Fish all being examples. Hellsguard's surnames don't exist. All Hellsguards are deeply independent and despise being defined by others' actions. Thus, when leaving or are expelled from their mountain home, they will always completely drop their family name and will only be referred to by their first name. Yeah, short and simple for the Hellsguard. So that's it. That's what there is to know about the Roegadyn. I hope you enjoyed. I'd just like to say, wow, there's actually more than 500 of you that consider my video worth their time. Thank you. I hope I'm able to continue to produce content you guys enjoy, find informative, and or just give you some good laughs. Please continue to leave those likes and comments. They have and continue to help this tiny channel grow. So goodbye then, friends, and have a great day.
Bum, bum, bum.